So if you guys haven't heard already, the NCAA just changed its rules regarding student athletes and them profiting off their name, image, and likeness. They suspended pretty much all the rules prohibiting, student athletes profiting off their name, image, and likeness, which in this video I will call NIL from now on, and that's also how the NCAA refers to it. And this took place, it's in effect since Thursday, July 1st, 2021. So if none of this is making sense to you so far, the NCAA is pretty much the biggest administration and association of college and universities in America. They govern athletics across 3 different divisions and hundreds of schools and thousands of student athletes. And one of the biggest things about college athletics, especially within the NCAA, is amateurism and maintaining your eligibility to play in the NCAA. You can't be getting paid to play. You can obviously receive scholarships, which is paying for your school, but you never receive direct compensation for your playing ability or things like that. And up until pretty much just a couple of days ago, you can also not receive endorsements, sponsorships. They even had video games where they would use the images and likenesses of college athletes. NCAA football was the game, but they would not put their names on there, and obviously that made a lot of college players mad because they were selling this game and making tons and tons of money off it. They did it for basketball too before. The actual players never got any benefit from it other than maybe popularity because they're in a video game, but they never made any money off of it because that went against NCAA policy. Their policy used to be that you can be employed and compensated as long as you're actually working for it, and your employment, your NIL value, your name, image, and likeness value can't be something that your employer can profit off of where you're working at. So this restricted a lot of student athletes, especially big name ones, D1 players that were future prospects for the NFL, NBA, MLS, just big name athletes in college. While they're in college, they couldn't really profit off any of that at all. But as of now, they pretty much removed all the rules regarding NIL, except for that you still can't get paid to play, and potential deals involving your NIL value, they can't be used to basically sort of bribe you to come to a school. So when a school is recruiting you, they can't try and bring that up or make that a factor, like you'll receive more NIL endorsement money or things like that if you come to that school. And then they also stated that their NIL deals, things like that, should be within state laws, but they also, just kind of weird, they said the NCAA will not monitor if student athletes NIL deals violate state laws. So basically, you won't get in trouble with the NCAA if you're breaking the state law, but you would get in trouble with the state, which in some ways could be worse. And of course, they made it very clear, any of this NIL stuff cannot jeopardize your eligibility as long as it's taking place after July 1st, 2021 from now on. It won't jeopardize your eligibility to play NCAA sports, and it won't throw away your amateurism status or any of that. And if you're a prospective student athlete, so I'm assuming this means even if you're in high school or you're out of high school but you still want to play in the NCAA, play sports there, you can also participate in these NIL activities before being an NCAA student athlete, and it won't jeopardize your NCAA eligibility. But if you are in high school, it could jeopardize your eligibility to play for your high school. So that is another good news, but if you're in high school, make sure you check all the rules again on that. Now this is their interim NIL policy, means temporary, but they said they're working on a permanent federal legislation, a permanent policy on this. But also, just the way they're describing it does not sound like the permanent policy is going to take back all this stuff. They're just probably going to have a few little guiding rails, I guess, just a few little more things. They might make it mandatory that you report your NIL activities to the NCAA or your specific school. They'll probably just have a few little things that make it more specific, the policy. But I highly doubt that after putting the statement out there that you can profit off your NIL, they're going to go and take it back or say, well, actually, not really. You can I think the permanent policy is pretty much going to be the same thing, hopefully with just a few little more specific things on it. Now as well with this, they said you can use professional service provider. I think that's the term they use for it, which could include an agent or attorney to help you, navigating the NIL activities and deals, which is good for student athletes. As a college student athlete, we probably just see dollar signs and think it's a good deal. So that could be good for student athletes, have someone guiding them through these things so they're not just totally on their own. It does not seem to be the case at all that if you participate in NIL activities or profiting off that before July 1st, 2021, when this policy came in place, they're not going to remove any punishment or disciplines on you. And they made it clear, if you were doing this NIL activity before Thursday, you could still have your eligibility jeopardized. Final thing, as far as NIL, they said it cannot basically directly be based off of your athletic performance. Obviously, it has something to do with that. They understand that. They understand it also has to do with your participation in athletics. But I think the specific example they said was, receiving a certain amount of money per touchdown scored or things like that. So again, they want to try to make it so it's not you're basically a pro, you're being paid for how you play. Obviously the NIL deals and activities, and they know this, the biggest ones are going to go to the best athletes with the biggest names, the biggest brands around them. But they do not want it to be a super direct correlation of you score this many goals, you get this much money from this company, even if it's not the school itself. So as far as this affecting me personally, recently, you guys might have seen, posted on my Instagram story, but I am eligible to monetize my YouTube channel, to monetize the ads on it. I've been waiting. I haven't submitted anything into YouTube about it all. I got the email, read it. That's all I've done so far. I was reading through the rules before this policy was announced, and it kind of sounded like it's not the best idea. It sounded like it could be breaking rules or risking my eligibility. After this, it seems very likely I could do it. I think more of the question is, does having a personal YouTube channel, one specifically where I talk about college soccer, and I've made it clear the school I go to, I play for an NCAA Division III school, I play college soccer. The question seems to be, does that fall within the new NIL policy? And thankfully, I've been in touch with my coach and then my boss. She's the assistant athletic director, and they've been talking with the head athletic director, who I guess is looking into specifically my case with the YouTube channel and monetizing it, how this falls in with this new NIL stuff. So I haven't got Adidas or Nike sponsor me yet. If you're watching this, I would greatly appreciate that. But as far as right now, that's all I'm really been thinking about, is just monetizing my channel. Wouldn't be much money at all, but still something that would be nice to have just a little bit on the side and be making money for these videos. And as far as my personal opinion on this, I think it's been a very long time coming. I think it's been really frustrating to me because of how much NCAA profits off student athletes, and in some ways financially how little we get in return and how much money we give them, we spend to go to their schools. And some of these rules I absolutely get. You want amateurs in college sports, you don't want professionals in here. But at the same time, I think this is something they should have had from the beginning, that we can use our own name, image, and likeness that belongs to us, doesn't belong to the school. We don't belong to the school. We play for you. We choose to. I think this is how it should have been all along. Of course, I'm happy about it. I think it's a good victory for student athletes. But there's still that frustration of how greedy some of the people at the top of the NCAA are, how much money they've been profiting off of versus how much we receive for our own athletic ability, our own name, image, and likeness. So just like any student athlete, I'm glad it happened. I don't want to be all negative and just, we need more, I need more, and this, that. I'm just going to appreciate this. Hopefully, this means for me personally, I can profit off my YouTube channel and profit off other things if they come up. But that's pretty much my opinion on it. That's the news about it. I've read all the stuff on their website that I could find about it. It's up to us student athletes to make some money off your own name, your own image, your own likeness. It's you. You can make money off it. It's a great victory for us. I'm glad they finally changed this and opened it up to us. So let me know what your opinion on this is in the comments. If you have any other questions about it, leave that down in the comments. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for watching. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even be able to monetize my channel in the first place, to be at the amount required to monetize my channel and all that stuff. So I really appreciate all your guys' support. And I will see you next Saturday. There will not be an off-season episode on Wednesday. The off-season episode will be coming out next Saturday. So thank you again. I will see you then.